He realized more than ever that the Jedi were too dangerous for him to allow them to exist. They were to the Sith what Alina was to him, an example of peace, comfort, and therefore a temptation to weakness. The Emperor did not see it, but Malgus saw it, and he knew what he must do. He knelt beside Alina, cradled her head in his left arm. He studied her face, its symmetry, the line of her jaw.
Verodin, you are my rescuer.
Yes.
Where is the woman, the Jedi?
She is gone. She will never hurt you again.
I knew you loved me.
I do.
He felt tears forming in his eyes, his weakness made manifest.
What is wrong, my love?
That I love you is what is wrong, Elena.
Verodin.
He steeled himself, stood, ignited his lightsaber, and drove it through her heart.
You called her a mongrel. To my face, you called her that. Her!
Have you heard the news from Alderaan, my lord?
What news?
There are rumors that an accord has been reached, and that a peace treaty will be signed later today. In exchange for the turnover of certain outlying systems to Imperial control, Coruscant will be returned to the Republic.
Peace. Peace! You are the mongrel, Adras. Angrel's mongrel, and you and those like you have mongrelized the purity of the Empire with your pollution, trading strength for a wretched peace. You and Angrel caused this, Adras, and the Emperor. There can be no peace with the Jedi, no truce. There can be no peace at all, not ever.
He recalled his first pilgrimage to Korriban, remembered the profound sense of holiness he had felt as he walked in isolation through its rocky deserts, through the dusty canyons lined with the tombs of his ancient Sith forebears. And in his isolation, it had showed him a vision. He had seen systems in flames, the fall of a galaxy-spanning government. But it was not just the Republic that required cleansing by fire.
I will tear apart the corrupt systems that allow weakness to infect the galaxy. I will stop the rot. I will burn down all of their failing legacies and see who embraces the flame. You will witness my reckoning.
Do you think the secrets buried in that fortress will stay hidden forever? This is beyond your control. Everything my plan required to succeed has happened. My vision will come to pass. Nothing you do will stop this.
There has been a vision. Its contents are disturbing.
Life will be reshaped. Scales unbalanced.
A wave of change rises and falls, beyond the reach of Darth Malgus.
And as he dreams, he awakens a great power. One that will tear the galaxy apart.
The story of Darth Malgus is an epic saga through books and the online game, from one Sith Lord among many to a standout villain that could strike fear into the hearts of Jedi. Malgus was born in the year of 3700 BBY, within the hidden Sith Empire that remained out of the Republic's sight. His birth name is Verodin. His biological parents are unknown, but we do know that he was adopted and raised by an executive Imperial scientist. While Verodin was just a boy, he discovered his latent dark side power. In a moment of blind rage, the young boy snapped the neck of a Twi'lek servant girl of his household, but rather than punishing the boy, his adopted father praised him and expressed great joy. For this revelation meant Veridon would be sent to be trained by the Sith Lords themselves. Veridon's father would gain valor and reputation if his son becomes a powerful Sith Lord. His actions were purely selfish. It was actually Imperial law that all Force sensitives were to be sent to the Sith for evaluation and training. No single Force user was left behind. It was Sith philosophy to use every tool to its fullest. Even slaves who were Force sensitive would be sent to train. The upcoming war would be needing every Force user possible. Given the mandate to train every Force sensitive, this gave opportunity for weaker Sith to rise through the ranks of the Sith hierarchy, using political prowess alone. Meaning weakness and impurities made it into the Sith Order, something recognized by Veridon later in his life. Those weak in the dark side who did not climb the political ladder would be given smaller roles in the Empire, such as demeaning infrastructure work, all the way to being some other Dark Lord's personal assistant. Some even became overseers. While weak in the Force, their knowledge of Sith philosophy and training would be a high standard. But for Veridon, he was destined to walk the path of a Sith warrior, which became totally evident when the young boy grew into a large and muscular man. He was sent to train on the world of Drummond Cars, like many other Sith of his time, such as Darth Maul and even Darth Jadus. During his training, he became well versed in multiple forms of lightsaber combat. He knew the form Jar-Kai, which was primarily for dual-wielding blades. This lightsaber form was also used by Dark Jedi during the First Great Schism. Veridon also learned Juyu and, of course, the Gem Sur. This technique was his main focus, given his size and stature. However, Veridon's specialty came from drawing upon the dark side of the Force. While training, he became very powerful very quickly, far exceeding his peers in terms of raw strength, but held back by the political machinations of the Empire's hierarchy. He was one Sith among many. Standing out wasn't easy. Not without being well versed in politics, which Veridon was not. In fact, he hated Sith politics. Veridon's ability to draw upon the dark side for power was prodigal. When in battle with his enemies, his rage knew no bounds, and his wrath was absolute. Had his political skills and charisma matched his physical prowess, he would have much sooner climbed the ladder of the Empire and gained the respect he deserved. But this was not immediately the case. It's not absolutely clear when Veridon renamed himself to Malgus, but if we use the same method the Bane trilogy gives us, then I think it's safe to assume he takes the name Malgus after being recruited into the Sith for training. The name Malgus represents the meaning of unification, to become one, making his name very symbolic and a parallel to his own self-found philosophies, which would be that he prides himself on the ability to not judge others by where they came from. Meaning, Malgus knew that the Sith Empire's exclusion of alien races and other potential allies was a waste and did not align with the Sith code. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Peace and content with other aliens is misguided and leads to weakness. So while his politics were non-existent, he did have the mind of a prophet. Further into his training, he was tasked with supervising a mission on the world of Geonosis. While on this world, he witnessed a slave owner mistreating and physically beating a female Twi'lek. Whether it was some kind of guilt from his childhood or just blind stupidity, he decided to rescue this Twi'lek and adopt her into his protection. This act would be seen as weakness by other Sith Lords, so Malgus had to pretend that the Twi'lek was his servant and nothing more. But the truth of the matter was very different. He grew attached to the alien. Her name was Alina Daru. She showed Malgus that good things can and do exist in the galaxy. However, this sentiment was not compatible with Malgus's philosophy. While he did indeed grow to have feelings for her, it was not a traditional relationship. They did not hold hands or sneak away for childish pleasures. Malgus simply held her at arm's length and saw something he could never have. For now, he would protect her and keep her around. She even joined him in combat missions, proving to be a valuable asset. Alina herself was devoted to Malgus. She saw him as a hero, her rescuer. Perhaps she saw the good in him and believed he could ultimately be changed. In time, she would learn the dark side has held Malgus for too long to simply turn back. So she accepts this truth and becomes a loyal servant to the eyes of those around, and a secret romance when his peers could not see. Eventually, Malgus was assigned to a Sith master named Darth Vindican, a Sith pureblood who came equipped with a double-bladed lightsaber. Darth Vindican trains Malgus for a short time until the time finally comes the Sith Empire returns. Vindican and Malgus are appointed to the front lines of the initial assault on Korriban. Malgus was just 19 years old, but fear was not in his heart. He was born for this. During the assault, Vindican senses Jedi on the orbital station and sets their shuttle down to confront them. This is the battle we see in the Return trailer. As we know, Malgus kills Jedi Battlemaster Khal Chendarak, then his own Sith Master, who lay defeated already.
Welcome home.
He even nearly killed Satele Shan had her master not intervened. After striking down his master, this is the most probable moment Malgus acquired the title of Darth. The reason Malgus overpowered the Jedi Battlemaster so easily is because of the sheer amount of power Malgus was able to draw upon from the dark side. As the Sith Empire returned in mass and his homeworld watches the fight, Malgus's dark side power boils over and overwhelms his opponent. Retaking Korriban was swift and calculated, an easy victory for the Sith Empire. After the battle, Darth Malgus walks the surface of Korriban, his ancient forebear's homeworld. During his pilgrimage to the Valley of the Dark Lords, the Force had showed him a vision.
It had showed him a vision. He had seen systems in flames, the fall of a galaxy-spanning government. But it was not just the Republic that required cleansing by fire.
In his short time in this galaxy, Malgus had come to learn that the Sith Empire had become weak. They limit themselves based on ancient dogma and irrelevant narratives of outsiders. Malgus knew that the Empire had to be reformed and molded back into the power base it is meant to be. However, everything this vision showed him went against everything he was trained to know. For now, the vision would sit in the back of his mind, while he chips away at the wisdom required to fully understand it. After the retaking of Korriban, the Great Galactic War began, a war that lasted for almost 50 years. During the war, Malgus played a critical role in many battles. His journals that were recovered explain that Darth Malgus was present for the Battle of Ord Radama, Engimon, and even Bofawui. The Battle of Bofawui was a crushing loss for Malgus. In his young age, this cost him a lot of reputation and was held over his head by those above him. As a consequence, Malgus received less military resources to work with, which did not stop him from succeeding in future battles. As the war raged on, Malgus would become well known by the Sith and Jedi alike. His peers would think twice before angering him, and his name alone would strike fear into the hearts of Jedi. He eventually became known as the Jedi Butcher, a savage brute who left no Jedi alive and offered mercy to none. Malgus did have at least one rival, however, a Sith named Lord Adras, who would seek to undermine Malgus at any opportunity. This lord in particular was one of those weaklings who made it to where they are, based on politics and charisma alone. Adras had about as much physical power as a womp rat with no legs, at least in comparison to Malgus. During the cinematic trailer named Hope, Darth Malgus is 33 years old. he led a surprise attack on the core world of Alderaan and succeeded in bringing them to their knees. He did this with the help of Shae Vizsla, who at the time was a Mandalorian for hire. The Mandalore from this era was actually allied with the Sith Empire. In this trailer, we see Darth Malgus' army be counterattacked by the Republic and their Havoc Squad. Accompanying the troopers was Jedi Knight Satele Shan, who was able to defeat Malgus in battle by overpowering him with the Force. Malgus was injured greatly by the blast, not only from Satele, but also from the thermal detonator that exploded in his face. The rocks that crushed him would lead to some breathing issues, which is why he later used a respirator. He can and does take the respirator off, but it is required for his longevity and ability to live. Even after being crushed by the rocks, Malgus raised himself up again and continues to fight with others in a different area. He later retreated, likely with the help of Shae Vizsla. The Battle of Alderaan would scar his face and body forever, but these scars were worn with dignity and not spite. He would draw upon the anger this failure caused and use it to achieve victory. Darth Malgus actually took on an apprentice during the war, known as Darth Corrid. Corrid used to be a Padawan to Jedi Master Nostral until she was corrupted and turned. He placed her in charge of a mighty superweapon known as the Ascendant Spear. However, his apprentice was killed by a Republic SIS agent, Theron Shan. The loss of his apprentice was meaningless to Malgus. To him, it was just a duty he was expected to do according to the Sith Empire. Although he approved of Corrid and taught her his own philosophy, he did not mourn her loss. Almost 15 years later, Darth Angral recruits Malgus to lead an assault on the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. The Emperor intended to assault Coruscant to force the Jedi into signing a peace treaty that would end the war and declare the Sith Empire the victors. However, Malgus did not learn of the peace treaty plan until after the battle was done. The Deceived novel goes into great detail for the sacking of Coruscant. I highly recommend you check it out. One cool thing it points out is that during the trailer, when Master Venzalo hilt bashes Malgus, he actually takes out one of his teeth. Malgus' servant Alina Daru also joined him for this battle. After killing Master Venzalo, Malgus runs to Alina, who was seemingly injured in an ongoing crossfire. With many of his peers as witness, he let his guard down and showed Alina affection. He publicly embraced her and tried to make sure she was okay. Those who were present to bear witness would not look upon this kindly. It would be seen as a weakness and damage his reputation. When embracing her, Alina publicly called Malgus Veridon, his birth name. He later warned her that if she ever did so again publicly, he would kill her. The sacking of Coruscant was a major success, and the Emperor's plan with the peace treaty worked. When Darth Malgus learned of the treaty, he punched a dent into a Durasteel shuttle cabin, then proceeded to have a fit of rage, destroying everything around him.
Have you heard the news from Alderaan, my lord?
What news?
There are rumors that an accord has been reached, and that a peace treaty will be signed later today. In exchange for the turnover of certain outlying systems to Imperial control, Coruscant will be returned to the Republic.
Peace. Peace!
The notion of peace in any capacity was a betrayal to the Sith Code. Malgus could not accept this, and his vision from his youth became clearer. A cleansing fire must sweep the galaxy and put an end to failing legacies. But just how exactly could he do this, he wondered. For now, he would bide his time and wait for the Force to present him with an opportunity to act on his vision. The Jedi Master that Malgus killed at the temple was actually the former master of another Jedi named Aaron Lanier. This Jedi felt her master's death from across the galaxy, and she entered a path of revenge to find her master's killer and show them justice. Aaron Lanier makes it all the way to Coruscant, even though doing so breaks the terms of the peace treaty. When the Jedi learn of her disobedience, they give the Empire permission to do as they see fit with her, essentially abandoning her. However, Malgus learned of Aaron Lanier and her plot for vengeance, so he decided to play along and hunt her as well, while she hunts him. She did not actually know it was Malgus who killed her master yet, but she discovered the truth when she explores the destroyed temple and finds security holo footage of the battle. She witnesses the murder and identifies the perpetrator as Malgus. She also sees Malgus embrace a female Twi'lek with real emotion. The revelation that Malgus is the one who slaughtered her former master put fear into her heart, but she was determined to face him, and she got exactly that. Malgus knew she would go to the temple, and so he waited for her while hovering above the temple in his personal shuttle. He jumped out of the shuttle and dropped for what must have been 100 meters or more. His lightsaber was activated and ready as he just about landed on top of Aaron Lanier, who was below. She moved out of the way just before he crushed her.
A roar, heavy with hate and rage, pulled Aaron's eyes skyward. Malgus descended like a meteor. His cape flew out behind and over him, a comma of darkness, and he held his lightsaber in a two-handed grip. Power went before him in a wave of visible distortion. The shuttle out of which he had leapt flew off into the night sky. Aaron fell fully into the Force, raised her defenses, took a fighting stance, and parried Malgus's two-handed overhand slash. Still, he landed in a cocoon of power, hitting the ground in an explosion of might that shattered the stones around them and turned them into a hail of shrapnel. Unflinching, Aaron deflected them with the Force as she parried another slash from Malgus. The force of the Sith's blow made her arms quiver.
Malgus taunts the Jedi, exposing her blind loyalty to her master. He even equips and activates her master's green lightsaber to mock her even more. By the end of the confrontation, Aaron Lanier had barely escaped with her life. She was able to retrieve the lightsaber away from Malgus after he attempted to kill her by throwing it at her. Before she retreated, she told Malgus she would hurt him, but he did not take this threat seriously. At first, Malgus discerned that Aaron Lanier must have seen some security footage of the sacking of Coruscant. This is how she knew Malgus personally killed her former master. This revelation made him proud, that a Jedi had witnessed his greatest achievement. He came back to thinking about the Jedi's threat. She said clearly that she would find a way to hurt him, but then the realization came all too sudden. If Aaron Lanier had seen security footage of the battle, then it's possible she saw Malgus with Alina Daru. Would this Jedi really target Alina? It was not a risk he was willing to take. He realized in this moment that he felt fear for the first time. He tried to reach out to Alina, but failed to contact her. Malgus immediately ordered his men to go to her location and make sure she is safe. By the time Malgus arrives, the Jedi had already taken her captive. The fury that raged within him boiled over. The Jedi Aaron Lanier forced Malgus to allow her friends to leave the planet unharmed, or she would kill the Twi'lek. Malgus obeyed her and gave her friends safe passage. The Jedi seemingly was going to kill the Twi'lek anyways, but she stopped. But Malgus did not stop. He engaged with Aaron Lanier again and showed her his true power. After besting her physically again, he ends the fight with a decisive blast of Force lightning that sweeps her off her feet and leaves her skin bubbling. The Jedi blacks out. When she awakens, Malgus stands over her and thanks her. He explained that today she showed him his own weakness, and had their positions been reversed, he would not have hesitated to kill someone that she loves. Malgus allows the Jedi to leave, but promises that the next time that they meet, he will kill her. As Malgus embraces Alina, he finally confesses to her that he loves her. Saying the words aloud brought tears to his eyes, and the acceptance of what he must do. She had become a chain around his neck, one that needed to be broken. His feelings for her would compromise his ability to ensure his vision. He had to take action. Malgus stood, activated his lightsaber, and ran it through her heart. She gasped as the blade entered her flesh. Then her body fell lifeless in his arms, silent and at peace. An instant death for her was the only mercy he ever showed. In the moments after her death, Darth Malgus confronts his rival, Lord Dras, who named his servant a mongrel to his face in a prior meeting. Malgus slaughters his rival in an act of ventilation, securing the fact that his former weakness would never be used against him again. Lord Dras would not be missed by the Sith Empire. Malgus's vision was now in total clarity. He could see that the Emperor and his lackeys had adopted a peace with the Jedi and Republic. This went against everything Malgus knew. A war overshadowed with no true victor, a conflict that ended in peace. He said to himself, there can be no peace with the Jedi, no truce. There can be no peace at all, not ever. Over the next 10 years, he would bide his time and increase his own power base. With the fame that came from the sacking of Coruscant, Malgus finally became a high authority figure within the Sith Empire. He oversaw special operations and flashpoints that were carried out by the Imperial Army and other Sith Lords. When he was not directly working for the Empire, he conspired against it. In his spare time, he would recruit allies and build relationships with more species, such as Trandoshan warriors or even alien scientists. Malgus recruited a scientist by the name of Arcus Word. This scientist in particular helped Malgus make what was left of the Foundry operational. They even found what was left of HK-47 and repaired him to functional standards, meaning Malgus had the famous assassin droid in his armada. Eventually, a rumor spreads that a Jedi faced the Emperor on Dromund Kars and defeated him. The Emperor's silence reinforced the rumor's truth. With the Sith Emperor seemingly out of the way, Malgus knew his time to strike was now. Firstly, he asserted himself on the world of Ilum, where the Sith Empire was harvesting Adegan crystals. He told his peers that the Dark Council had personally sent him. Whether this was true or just a lie to get on the scene is unclear. Either way, Darth Malgus betrays the Empire in favour of rebuilding a new one in his own vision. An empire that would not allow the Jedi to exist or allow a peace to take hold. A new empire that would recruit all aliens, wasting no untapped potential. After his success on Ilum with the Adegan crystals, Malgus moved his power base to the former Sith Emperor's roaming fortress. Indeed, he stole and used the Sith Emperor's former secret fortress, a bold move. His ally Arcus Word was able to use the Adegan crystals to power their stealth fleet. Arcus had made the entire new Sith Armada come equipped with stealth capabilities that couldn't be detected easily. However, the Dark Council did not approve of Malgus's coup, so they sent a strike team after him. The strike team first assaults his power base on Ilum, along with capturing or killing many of his high-value assets and leaders. Many from the Sith Empire defected to join Malgus. Those Sith were found and destroyed. The strike team was able to locate Malgus and his fortress, and make an assault against him. On the way, they defeat HK-47 and even capture or kill Arcus Word, but not before forcing the scientist to set the fortress to self-destruct. The strike team continues to face and confront Malgus, who waits for them in the Emperor's throne room. In fact, Malgus had declared himself the new Emperor, so therefore, the seat now belongs to him. Only those capable of wielding power are able to take it from others, but it was not to be.
The Emperor's wrath. Fitting that we meet within his chambers. He was kind enough to keep his throne warm for me. Welcome to my throne room. So much history. So many glory days that slipped away from us. The Emperor is dead. Long live the new Emperor.
I respect your perseverance, Malgus, but not your claim to power.
You're not as foolish as you look. The Empire is withering away. Soon it will be obliterated by decadence and antiquated ideals. Yet still you struggle to keep it from healing, don't you see? Our survival demands a new empire, tempered by alien alliances and strengthened by tolerance.
I've seen the Empire's weakness. We must change to survive, but you're going about it the wrong way.
You are perceptive, but still you have much to learn. My stealth armada will destroy your fleet, and I will destroy you.
Warning. Critical explosions detected on the foundry level. Generators manually overloaded by user ID Arcus Woad.
Enough.
Emergency warning. Power core overrides engaged. Self-destruct initiated.
You must be desperate to sacrifice your entire station.
This palace is a monument to the old Empire's failures. Its sacrifice was inevitable. The blast will wipe out your fleet, and only I can deactivate the destruction cycle. Die, or defeat me. Either way, the Empire is reborn.
Despite fighting with all his might, Malgus was defeated and left inside the space station when it exploded. His fate to the known galaxy was that he died in this moment. But this story does not end here. Around 10 years later, Darth Malgus returns to the known galaxy after it is revealed the Sith Empire had actually captured him and held him in a carbonite block. There was once a leaked cinematic scene where Malgus is brought to Valkorion while in carbonite, but the writer of the game insists that this was not canon. We now know this was to avoid spoilers about Malgus's return in the story. So the cinematic could actually be canon now, but given the fact it is not released, we'll just go with the fact that the Sith Empire had frozen him in carbonite. When the Empire finally returns to conflict with the Republic, Malgus returns and is seemingly loyal to the Empire again.
No! Impossible! You died!
I am Darth Malgus. I speak with the full power of the Sith Empire, and I am in command now. You. I wasn't expecting you to be a part of this operation.
However, we would soon learn that in fact, the current Empress or Emperor was controlling Malgus through torture and cybernetic loyalty augments. They put a leash on him so they can use him as an attack dog against the Jedi. While under their control, Malgus was sent to Ossus and was responsible for helping to kill Jedi Master Nosh Dural.
Sindarak. Van Zalo. Nomen Carr. Darth Barros. Tenebrae. It seems I'll be meeting my fate in distinguished company.
Left to me, this library will be your grave, Jedi. But your fate is in the Commander's hands.
I'd say you have the right idea.
Kill him before he bores us to death with another lecture.
In time, the Empire would learn that keeping Malgus alive was a bad call. He sees an opportunity to break free of the Empire's control, and he seizes it.
What a mess.
I have removed all compromised components. Where shall we begin repairs?
Checking the failsafe is always first. Emperor Vauron had us double the explosive charges after the Osis mission. It was a real pain to hook up.
Yes, I examined the device after removing it. Highly complex.
You removed it? What are you thinking?
It was rendered inoperable due to damage. Replacement is required. Interestingly, it was the only damage not caused by crushing impacts. The exterior perimeter was actually cut by a high-heat implement.
Oh no.
Give me the droid. And a ship.
But the mind domination he went through was severe to say the least. He had to find something to help his mind heal and become independent again. So Malgus escapes the Empire's clutches and seeks out the secrets the Jedi held on Dantooine.
I will not return. I will not return. I will not.
Once again, your vital signs have elevated far beyond ideal values. I am concerned that these episodes pose a risk of permanent damage.
Then stop them.
I have already removed all physical modifications related to your loyalty assurance protocols. These hallucinations are the result of psychological manipulation. To correct such potent mental conditioning is beyond my program's scope of practice. Honestly, I am unaware of any technique capable of editing the pathways of your mind so extensively.
I have heard of one possibility. Set course for Dantooine.
This is related to the powers the Jedi Council used to rearrange Revan's mind back in Knights of the Old Republic 1. Malgus sought this knowledge to help him break free. He succeeded in his findings and finally broke his chains to the Empire.
I have done what so many Sith pretend to do but never really achieve. I have broken my chains. I will never again have a master. I will never let another rule over me. I will never return to the Empire.
His presence in the galaxy at this point in time became loose and rare. Over the next few years, he would secretly search for the former Sith Emperor's weapons of mass destruction. He used to have an entire army follow him, but now he was just a lone Sith Lord. He had vowed to never serve another, to always serve the dark side and nothing more. The war that should have claimed victory for his empire was stolen away by a tainted order that believed in peace with their enemies. Malgus knew he had to do something big to reorganize the structure of power throughout the galaxy. Eventually, he is tracked down to the world of Elon, where a hidden fortress safeguards the former Emperor's greatest secret. The secret to creating an entire army of loyalists by reaching out with the Force to indoctrinate the minds of others. Vitiate had done this to create his so-called Emperor's children, but Malgus would use it to cleanse the galaxy by fire instead. In the latest cinematic trailer, we see Malgus venture to the fortress and do battle with Sith and Jedi alike. He's actually 75 years old in this cinematic and still kicking ass. Malgus takes the holocron within the fortress, but immediately loses it when he leaves. This is because the player character shows up with their allies and overpowers him, leading to his arrest and capture. The kill option for Malgus is not yet present, meaning his story is far from over. For the next 2 years, Malgus would be held in a maximum security cell at the heart of the faction's fleet. The prison cell he is placed in is the same cell that was used for deadly assassins trained by Tulak Horde. It even held a Gendai Force user at bay before. Escaping the prison would be difficult, to say the least, but seemingly this was not Malgus's personal goal. As the story progresses, it becomes more and more clear that Darth Malgus already knew what would happen, meaning his vision has come to him in even greater clarity than before. He now sees the things required to fulfill his mission. He even openly states that there is nothing that can be done to stop this, and that his plans are already in motion. This notion is further reinforced by the alien Voss species, who are capable of powerful force visions through their mystics. The Voss Council, known as the Free, informs the player character that a vision has been seen that aligns with Malgus's words. However, the Voss do not trust outsiders and will not reveal the total extent of the wisdom. The only thing they reveal is that Malgus's plans will come to pass more quickly if he is to be killed, and as he dreams, he awakens a great power. Confirming that his plans must already be in motion, this also implies he's working with someone else, but that's a prediction for another time.
There has been a vision. Its contents are disturbing.
Life will be reshaped. Scales unbalanced.
A wave of change rises and falls, beyond the reach of Darth Malgus.
And as he dreams, he awakens a great power, one that will tear the galaxy apart.
While Malgus is incarcerated, an ongoing civil war between the Mandalorian clans ignites, prompting Shae Vizsla, the current Mandalore, to confront Malgus and ask him what he knows. Shae Vizsla did not get the information she wanted, but Malgus did deliver a solid statement.
Shae Vizsla. Your thoughts are plain to me, Mandalore the Avenger. Your rage consumes you. There was a battle, and your prey slipped through your fingers. Your people are divided, while Heta Kol gathers her army. You are right to come begging for answers. Heta will destroy you.
Where is she? Dinila Hutun, answer me!
Shae Vizsla, who has worked with Malgus before now, including during the Battle of Alderaan and Coruscant many years ago, decides it is in her people's best interests to recruit Malgus and have him lead them to a victory. This idea betrays the player character of the game, but she does it anyways. She goes missing for a small time, then shows up with a small squad to assault Malgus's prison and free him. What their plans together will unfold is yet to be seen. The ending of this story will hopefully be one to remember. To find out how it all ends, subscribe to the channel now so you can come back and learn the truth. But for now, this is all we have, so thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.